Welcome, little one. This is your first day. Your designation will be RP-01/138. We expect great things from you. You have been born into dangerous times. A sharp mind can be the key to survival. But as often as not, it will be your inherent physical traits that win the day. And in this regard, you will be superior to your more common brethren. For you are a commando, an elite unit, something truly special. Your weapons, your armor, and most importantly, your brothers.
All right, men. Listen up.
Delta Squad, form up.
Forming up, boss.
What up, my fellow Republic Commandos? It is your boy Trey of the Bat Channel, and I am excited for our Andor Episode 9, Nobody's Listening breakdown review. As always, I have to bring in the best. Well, he's been a Sith lately. He's been a real Sith sympathizer. So, Super Bro Corey, where are you at? Or Darth Super Bro Corey? No, not gonna join me. He's just being a punk now. Corey, I'm gonna bring you in myself.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't listening.
Oh, I can't believe you did that. Trolling again? No. How you doing?
Hey, buddy, how we doing, man? Good show last night.
Godzilla show. Good God. Corey's been on about that nonstop. Kaiju. You know, it's all about Batdan already in the house doing the hashtag Obi-Wan gave up. I stand with Anakin Skywalker. You're wrong, Batdan.
No, he's not.
He's definitely wrong.
Mace Windu.
I will take the Mace Windu is at fault thing, maybe. You know, after Tales of the Jedi.
That's very, very hypocritical of you.
Hurtful. Well, welcome to the Batcave in a galaxy far, far away. As always, guys, you can follow us on our social media pages like TikTok, Instagram, Twitter at _Bat Channel. Feel free to DM us and let us know what's going on in your life, or just tell us some of the things you guys would like us to talk about, or maybe some Easter eggs that we may have missed in a previous episode review that we've done. We love hearing from you guys and connecting, and it's much more than just doing content creating. It's building a community. So we want to hear from you, our fellow Delta Squad members, because we love hearing it. Or you can follow us on Facebook at Holy Bat Channel. But as always, it helps us out so much when you smash that like, you share this video, get all your friends into the chat. The more people we have, the more fun the discussion is, and the more things we are able to catch when we're talking about Andor together, and maybe look at an episode differently, whether that helps the score or makes the score worse. I don't know. Depends on you guys. So make sure you share, get your friends into the chat. And also, I can't tell you how important it is to hit that notification bell. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode, because you'll miss some of your favorite content creators, like some of the people I've been missing lately. Sorry, guys. Haven't hit that notification bell, but I did recently to some of my favorite content creators, so I wouldn't miss their shows anymore, because it's a busy world out there. But also, another way you can support us is through a super chat. Super chat goes a long way in helping us build our show and making it better for you guys. We obviously put it right back into the show, pretty much, whether it's equipment or renewing some of our subscription bases like StreamYard. It does cost yearly, so that's part of the fun. But StreamYard is awesome. We couldn't do it without StreamYard to do all these fun shows. So, Corey, are you commenting under me again? Corey is right. I love how you take this opportunity to talk for me, or text for me, I should say, when I would never say such things.
You might.
Maybe one day. But guys, I feel like we should go ahead and bring in our incredible Delta Squad group. Corey, let's go ahead and bring in Mr. Orc and Beans 14.
Pow! What's up, Orc?
Oh, yeah. How's it going?
What's up? How you doing, big fella?
If you ask my mom, I've never listened in a day of my life, so this is a good episode for me.
Good.
Yeah. It was just one of those things, right? Like even my wife, I feel like they use this episode to really make us feel bad for those, who feel like we don't listen.
I'm hearing impaired.
Yeah,
that's how I took it.
They're going against people with disabilities is very hurtful.
Yep.
Freaking Disney. No, I'm just kidding. Let's go ahead and bring in our final member, Mr. Savage Bat.
The motherfucking Batman.
What's up, people?
How's it going, my man?
Always a pleasure to meet a Jedi.
Always a pleasure. Always. Corey, who all do we have in the chat today?
Bro, we got Bat Dan.
Bat Dan going nuts, of course.
We got the best Lex Luthor. We got Nightmare Robin in the house.
Yo.
Joker's Wild in the house. Red Hooded Outlaw in the house. Bat Fanatic. Hashtag Restore the Snyderverse guy. Trevor H. Bat Dan, always with the support. Ryan Swayze. Oracle's Clock Tower. Red Hooded Outlaw with the Vode. The Butler. And there's a few more, but I may have missed them with Bat Dan's Corey is right. So, yeah, Joker's Wild in the house. I think I said him, but yeah. What's up, everybody?
It's good to see you guys. Thank you so much for joining us today with our Delta Squad stream. This is an interesting episode to talk about today, because they kind of changed up the formula a little bit. I was expecting fast pace, action, the breakout.
I called it, bitch.
You did.
I said
language.
I said this ain't happening. We get another slow episode, and I think next episode's going to be kind of ramping up, and then the last two are going to be like probably just a crazy shit show. Language.
Yeah, it definitely. Hopefully, that it really does kick up next episode, because I mean, like you said, in a weird way, I said it was getting too predictable with the show, with its 3-episode formula that they were doing, these trilogies. And
what's up now?
I felt like that came back to bite me this episode, because it was different. Now, the first time I watched it, I was disappointed, because I was expecting it to be fast paced, But then I like watched it again this morning, and I was like, there's actually a lot to kind of dive in here. There's still a lot going on, so it's hard to kind of follow, but it was another well-written episode. I feel like nobody's listening. Did you guys, what was your first impression watching it? Savage, we'll start with you, then Orc, then Super Bro.
Yeah, brilliant. And who'd have thought Prison Break episode kind of, building up some steam. And really, obviously we're going to get to all the ending stuff later. But yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, I agree. The ending is what really sealed the deal for me on this particular episode. How about you, Orc and Beans?
Yeah, I was in the same realm where I was disappointed that they chose to break their formula and this was a slower episode. But I'm going to be a little more hopeful than Corey. And I'm going to say the last 3 episodes are just going to be bangers. I'm going to hope.
If it isn't bangers, like if not, every episode is just like in your face, like going into this crazy action-packed thing, do you think that would be a letdown?
Oh, definitely. And I will say my score for the show overall, hi Savage, the score all over overall has actually been hurt quite a bit by the formula that they're doing. I feel like my score has been progressively getting lower, and I think this episode actually kind of hurt my season score for it. So I'm really hoping for a good final push. I need them to get their kick and hit that last 100 meters hard.
Interesting. Okay. How about you, Super Bro?
So like I kind of said in the backstage with you guys, after the Godzilla stream last night, I turned it on and I passed out in it. So it had to watch it again this morning. And watching it this morning, I actually enjoyed it all the way through. I went into this knowing, not expecting that this was going to be fast. When I was like, with how much development that they're doing in this show, like, how do we go from him trying to figure things out to all of a sudden, just escaping? We're going to have a episode of a plan forming together in order for him to escape. And sure enough, that's what we got. So I'm thinking, I don't see 3 fast episodes. Sorry, Working Beans. It's not going to happen like that. 2.5 maybe. But I don't know if the last episode, the only way you'll be lucky is if the last episode's a 2-hour last episode. And because we have to come back down. It's going to be a rise up and then it's going to come back down. I don't think they leave us on a cliffhanger. Do you?
They probably will, because I did look into when Savage said, I think it was last episode, you talked about there being a season 2 confirmed. And I did look into it, and it is, season 2 is a go. Yeah. They said this.
They picked the directors for the episodes.
Yeah. The show. They said the show was always meant to be 2 seasons, and that was their story arc that they had for Andor. But you also had some other big things to talk about, Savage, about some of the ratings and the viewership of Andor, that it's improved drastically these last couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, after we'd been talking about it, and then it popped up, screen rant, but saying that it was a slow burner, and word of mouth, that kind of thing, and it's built up to be doing Mandalorian numbers. So really happy about that.
Which that would give it a huge spike these last couple of weeks, because based off some of the viewership ratings we were seeing for the beginning of this season, it was even below like Obi-Wan and Book of Boba Fett. I wonder if Tales of Jedi really kind of got people back on the train again, but also I think the word of mouth, was pretty good. Yeah. What was that, Super Bro?
Tales of the Jedi.
Tales of the Jedi was incredible.
Tales of the Jedi, man, spot on.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think some content creators like Theory and a few other Star Wars people were saying, like, if that's not proof that Dave Filoni really needs to take over Lucasfilm, like that. It needs to happen.
It's 100%. You know, Kathleen Kennedy's proved that she hasn't got Star Wars best interests. You know, it'd be better if Dave Filoni was in charge, most definitely.
Yeah, I agree. Dave Filoni seems to. He gets the.
He's a fan, man.
Exactly. It's the difference of running it as a business and not really knowing much about Star Wars versus someone who loves the IP.
He's just one of us, but he's actually making it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm glad to hear viewership is up and that season 2 is definitely guaranteed. So this probably will end on a cliffhanger. And sadly, because I've now learned that, I think we're not going to get a certain character arc through this season that is going to be satisfying, and it's going to take longer.
No, I think maybe that's how it ends.
The Emperor, you mean?
Yeah.
No, actually, I was going to say Surreal Karn. I think Surreal Karn, I don't think we're going to get quite the arc that we want for him to make him a worthy character.
No, big fella, I think we will, and this is going to go to a dark place with Surreal.
If he doesn't get his story arc, don't ask me back for season 2. I ain't doing it. I ain't watching it.
No.
I cannot do another fucking season of this loser doing nothing but be berated by his mother.
When we get to that portion of the movie or the show, I will. I have some thoughts there.
If he doesn't kill his mom and then goes nuts, don't call me back. Corey, I know that's where you're going. Don't call me back.
No. That's not the only place I'm going.
I'm very curious. How dark can Corey get?
How dark can Corey get? Well, so guys, I kind of broke up this breakdown today. Rather than following it how the show did it, how the editing of the episode was, I kind of broke it down by story, like kind of the linear stories that were going on. So I wanted to start with Deidre, the ISB officer, who we last saw was interrogating Bix. And holy cow, this whole opening scene in this particular episode with Deidre was, honestly, it was probably one of the highlights of this episode because she is a batshit crazy person. And she performed, the actress performed this so well, like the little twitches in her muscle when, you know, even Bix was kind of getting under her skin a little bit because she wasn't answering questions. Like this whole scene where she was just like, you know, the worst thing you can do right now is bore me. And I will say, complete cringe when the doctor does his little wave to Bix, like, hello, like I'm going to be torturing you today. I hated that so much with a burning passion. Savage, what was your thoughts about this whole, interrogation, this scene with Bix and Deidre?
Yeah, just amazing. And she's got, she's such an amazing character. She's got the look as well. Sort of dark eyes and stuff, like sort of Tarkin look to her. She really kind of pulls off the Empire really well. I think maybe if she hadn't have been an actress, she would have made a good policewoman, I think.
Right.
She's a cop, you idiot!
He's a cop, you idiot! Sorry, go ahead, Orc. What's your thoughts?
I thought the form of torture was kind of crazy. And, like, the fact that he even added in, he's like, we're pretty sure that the sounds that we got are of children screaming. Like, I thought that was a pretty intense form of torture. And I'm curious, I was curious to see, like, how long did she last before they took it off of her?
Well, I mean, we do see her kind of like Deidre traveling back and forth, between Coruscant, where the ISB office is, and back to, starts with the F. Oh no, I'm totally spacing it.
Ferrix or something?
Ferrix, thank you. And yeah, you bring up some great points, Orc, with their interrogation tactics, because it was very, we've actually seen those interrogation tactics, or have heard about, I should say, back in Guantanamo Bay. They used to blast like heavy death metal music to the prisoners there to try to get them to answer things, but they would also like set up this whole scene where it's like, we have your family in the other room and we're torturing them. Like, so the guys would like go nuts because they would hear crying and psychologically, because of our human species, and we're still, primitive in that, kind of biological engineering of how we think, hearing like children's screams can like really create a reaction out of people. So this was like legit interrogation tactics to have like just children screaming, and you could just see like it was like tearing her apart. And I would love to know as well just how long she was able to last, because that was some pretty brutal shit, for sure. Her scream at the end of her story in this episode, just like it haunted me, man. It was such a like, it felt real, it made me have a reaction to it, for sure. But Super Bro Corey, what was your thoughts?
I loved it, bro. What was that?
I'm talking about a person getting tortured. You're like, I love it. I love it.
I did love it. It was great, bro. It was Empire, just like if you're going to play games, we're going to play games right back, and you ain't going to like it too much. The thing that I thought was cool about it was, incoming World War II reference alert,
Hey!
Are like, hey, yo, let's figure out some, like, horrible scientific way to torture people or to do our bidding, It was insane, man. I loved the psychology of it all, and how it would have been an absolute mind screw there, It would have been absolutely insane to go through that style of torture. And I loved how the doctor was like kind of bragging about it. He's like, yeah, this shit's pretty cool, huh?
And that was a great thing that we'll kind of talk about, the mirroring of the two doctors, because there was two doctors that handled death and just the whole idea of like their perspectives on being a doctor, and kind of how they like are a complete opposite of each other. It was kind of interesting to watch that. Batman says a lot spaced out for a minute, surreal. I hope she gets a taste of her own medicine with that device. Oh, maybe. Yeah, the children screaming with the headphones that they were putting on. Kind of some crazy shit for sure. Corey loves torture. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he's a bit of a weirdo. Now let's get to the part that we were all kind of hoping to get. We do go back to the ISB office. Oh, Corey, thank you. Go back one. There we go. We do go back to the ISB office, and Deidre is reporting to everyone and talking about her findings and what she's discovered with Bix. And they're talking about how Andor is possibly connected to the Alderanian heist, and that they may lead to this Luthen character. And of course, some people are having doubts, like this is a stretch, where's the details in it? And they're talking about all these incredible things that they're able to find, right? Like, well, Ferrix is a planet that's kind of in the routes between the Empire to get, where you would see stolen goods from the Imperial devices and being sold off there. So it makes sense for where Cassian is, and also how they're calling this contact that they have that was probably in charge of the Aldani heist, and that Andor was clean shaven. So all these details are leaving. They're catching up, and time is running out for Cassian for sure. But let's go ahead and talk about Surreal Karn. Once again, I won't lie, guys. I know with Reva from the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, I really held on my patience, and it paid off for me. Now, then again, Obi-Wan Kenobi was only, 6 episodes long? 7 episodes? I think? This Surreal Karn is getting a little long for me. Like, this whole story about his mom giving him shit. He's eating his blue milk cereal. For God's sakes, eat some blue eggs or something, man. The blue cereal's going too far.
I was eating some of that werewolf Boo Bear, the cherry berry cereal. As I was
the Frankenberry cereal?
Yeah, I was like, oh, snap.
Right, yeah. But it was, to me, once again, his mom's giving him shit. And I love how now, this whole episode, nobody's listening, right? It's the running theme and gag throughout this entire thing. And his mom's like, pestering him, talking about like, oh, your life is shit, like you owe me. And I love that he like drowns her out by sipping on his blue milk cereal loud. He's not even looking at her. But then he kind of takes this moment to kind of throw in her face like, oh, I got promoted yesterday. And all of a sudden her posture changes towards him. But of course, she still wants credit. What was your whole thoughts about this surreal Karn interaction with his mom? Once again, their relationship isn't great. Savage, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, that was kind of weird, that bit with his mum again. But I was pleased that where it moved to with the meeting with him and what's her name again? Deidre. Yeah, that was amazing. Great writing and real tension there with that. Yeah, it's kind of interesting, right? Oh, sorry, I got like a text on something and it like caught my eye. Orc and Beans, what was your thoughts about Surreal and his interaction with his mom again?
He's trying too hard to be cool and mysterious. Where he was like, "You were in my stuff, my private stuff. I have my ways of knowing." Like, bro, chill. Like, what? She opened up your shoebox and found your, condoms that you've been holding on since you were 13. Like, bro, chill. It's not that serious.
Dang, you're saying he ain't even using the condom.
He ain't even using
Probably found his Twi'lek Playboy magazines,
He's had that round circle like pressed in his wallet for a really long time.
Did you touch my drumsticks?
Like, he's so... I think it's... Partly it's my fault, right? Like, the first couple episodes built him up to where I really, I had a vision of what his character was going to be and how it was going to go. And the fact that it hasn't happened and that it's happening so long. And I've always been, in all of the shows that we've talked about, I've always been the one that's been, saying all right, let's have a little bit of patience here. But with this being the longest show that we've talked about, with it being 12 total episodes, I think they're taking too long. And it's going to ruin the moment. I think when it finally happens, it's going to be more of a, finally they got it over with, not like a holy shit, it finally happened moment kind of thing. I feel like they've really, really tarnished it, and they could have given us, if they wanted to drag it out this long, they didn't need it to be this boring. They could have thrown in little bits and pieces. Like, if he had killed his mom, a couple episodes ago, that would have kept me interested in him. If they would have had him do something else crazy a couple of episodes ago. If they would have just peppered in some small things. Well, I mean, killing your mom's not a small thing, but if they would have peppered in some moments to show that, yes, it is happening, it is coming, he's going to break, then I would have been all for it. I'd be fine with this slow burn. But it's been such a slow, boring burn, and they haven't even given us a little bit of a taste that I'm over it. I'm over his character. Get him out of here.
That's it. Yeah, I think, and that's where I say one of my biggest issues with this show is too many timelines and stories going on in one episode. I think it would have been better if we followed two storylines in one episode and then another two storylines, so that way we can see the everyday life of Surreal and then going forward and then breaking his shit and then he's done. His transition is handled within maybe 1 to 2 episodes. Instead, we have a transition that's happening now most likely over 7 episodes and maybe longer. We haven't seen his character really grow, other than we're starting to see really obsessive clinginess that is unsettling in a way.
And I feel like his screen
time
Wonder Wife being used for other stuff. That's the thing that's pissing me the most off. There's more interesting stories going on that, because he's on my screen, I don't get to learn more about those things. And
all convinced you hate him, didn't you?
I really had huge hopes for him. I really, truly did. Yeah. I thought he was going to be such a cool character. And I
He might.
But by the
Patience.
time it
Wait until you hear my theory. You'll be interested.
Patience
may
is
be,
virtue.
but by the time it happens, it's going to be ruined for me because it's gonna be a finally it happened, not oh my god it's happening. Like I'm gonna have two different reactions than I would have if they would have peppered it in, or even if they would have taken.
They gotta build up the anger inside of him.
If they would have taken all of the shit that he's done, all of the I'm tired of seeing that stupid table. Every time I see him sitting at that table eating a stupid cereal, I'm like, great, nothing's gonna happen for the next 5 minutes.
Right, just get into
the cereal.
You know what we're learning is Orc has PTSD from his mom sitting at the table and being like, "Why don't you do anything with your life? Get a job, move out, find a lady."
And here I am doing
Here you are. You have a Twitch account that's blowing up. Like
we see that condom in your
you have made it.
Mom.
You have made it.
Well, Trey, we have another guest who has
another guest. Who is it?
Hello there.
Retro Nerd.
Hey.
What's up, Retro Nerd girl?
Hey guys.
Hi, Retro. Yep, we can hear you.
Can you hear me? Oh,
Yep,
good,
it's a little quiet, but yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, good.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, I'm sorry I'm so late.
No worries. It's good to have you here. We're excited to see you. Obviously, just doing our typical Delta Squad breakdown of Andor. What was we've kind of already talked about a few things, but just to kind of have you give your quick thoughts on it. What was your thoughts about the interrogation between Deidre and Bix? And obviously, we're talking about Cyril Karn and his whole interaction with his mom again.
I was actually kind of shocked by that. The interrogation. It was the moment where you really know that Deidre is definitely a bad guy, you know. So I love that the way that scene was set up and played, the way that you have the interrogating the doctor. The evil mad scientist doctor come in and administer, the torture device, and Deidre pretty much, stating her place as a true villain, and I love that. It was kind of surprising because all along you really didn't know how far she would go, or maybe she was doing this because of a certain reason, and there was even a thought that maybe she was a rebel in disguise at some point. But it's clear that she adopted this regime completely and is doing everything in her power to create to get the results that is kind of required of imperial officers, to get those dramatic and aggressive results. So I love that. And Cyril, I mean, there's not much that you can say about Cyril except for he is a little, he's a little unhinged, but his scenes need to get a little bit spicy. They need to do something with him. And I think I hope and I think that the next couple of episodes we're gonna actually see him do some more things and maybe even get in the way of the Empire. He might file things up. So. Because he seems to be acting a little bit erratic, and his mother pressuring him is kind of the driving force of all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. You brought up some really good points, and I agree that Cyril's scenes definitely need to get spicier. And there was kind of a hint that it could be very soon, because I think we're starting to see the cracks that we were hoping to see like 3 episodes ago. Especially when he was around Deidre, but I was a little weirded by that. I'm not gonna let Super Bro Corey talk because he's going too crazy right now. Corey, did you want to talk?
Oh yeah, sorry. Damn it, this again.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I am actually getting super excited for cereal now, man. Let the man enjoy his cereal, because shit's about to get weird up in here, bro. He's going to kill his mom. That's definitely happening. But the way he was kind of looking at Deidre and staring at her, I think we might get put the torture device in the basket type deal. He's gonna try and kidnap her, bro. This is
that would go in a direction that I kind of would be like, yeah.
I thought more bit of sort of sexual tension going on there. I think
totally was.
She took it the wrong way too.
She was like, "Oh, do you fancy me?"
I thought the same thing. I thought she was not totally understanding what he was saying.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Right? He's like, "I look up to you. Ever since you promoted
my whole
me."
thing was like, I was watching it and I was like, "Oh, she thinks like he's hitting on her, but really he's just super horny for the Empire." Really wants Cassian. She's not picking up on. I thought the same thing. I was like, she's not taking this the correct way.
She's like, you're stalking me. I'm calling the police.
She's gonna wind up in a hole.
I am the police.
The house somewhere. Yeah. It puts the lotion in the basket, or else it gets the hose again. We're going to hear it. It's coming soon.
Let's go ahead and talk about that scene.
Retro was going to say something.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Retro.
No, I think you were going to go in the direction of talking about that scene, in which I was like, yeah, so you go ahead and do that.
Oh, yeah. Well, basically, he's been waiting out by her office for a while, just waiting to thank her for, making his life better, and for finally his mom appreciating him because of her, her words of support to promote him into a better job with the Empire. But he's given some real, I think someone said it earlier, creeper vibes. Red Hooded Outlaw. Let's go ahead. Let's dive into this. What was your guys' reaction? Where do you think this is leading to with Surreal and Deidre?
Like I said, I think that there might be some kind of relationship starting there. The way she kind of looked at him, she was like, "Oh, what do you mean?"
Especially,
and then she got all shitty with him, like, She's like, "Go away, you perv,"
It was just extreme word. He like grabs her and is just like, "Dude, you have no idea. This woman will mess you up."
Yeah.
I think they may play around with that torture device a little, personally.
No. That's the BDSM of Star Wars.
There was definitely some tension there. She was really like, oh.
I feel like Andor, anything's on the table. We've already been to like a strip club, and the sex scene is
that's right
insane in this, so you never know what's going to happen.
He's like, "What's your thoughts about blue milk?"
50 Shades of Surreal up in here.
50 Shades of blue milk. There you go. Orchid Beans, what was your thoughts about that whole creepy interaction?
Honestly, I was surprised that she didn't react more severely with him. Like, he grabs her, and like she threatens to like have him arrested and stuff like that. But I was like, ma'am, you're actively torturing someone right now with like the screams of children, and this man has just grabbed you and you're just gonna threaten him. I felt like that didn't totally fit her character as much as like we've seen. Like, she's evil. She is an evil woman.
That's because she fancies him. That's because she fancies him.
She liked it a little, maybe.
She liked it.
You guys got the feeling that she liked it? I didn't get that feeling.
No, I did not get that feeling at all.
I got the feeling like she was like, "Bro, like, stay in your lane. Like, this is not enough. Get away." I mean, especially because like you're thinking, like, I mean, Retro, maybe you can tell us, like, if a guy like you think is hitting on you, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Oh no, I'm all about the government," you know, I'm in love with the government. How would you take that?
I'd probably ignore it. Like, okay.
Fair points. Retro, go ahead and tell us your thoughts about this scene.
Well, this is like one of the. I think this is a brilliant scene. I kind of wish it happened a little bit earlier. Like it's just that moment when you realize, okay, Cyril is the wild card in all of this. He is going to do something sick and crazy. I mean, who knows what he's capable of? But he's already resorted to stalking an imperial officer. This is pretty much like high on the offense level. He is going against all of his protocols. And you can see she was actually really shaken up by it when she got to her office. She takes like a moment and she's like, oh, what a day, you know? And she just got there. And so I'm not sure she really felt something, but I'm sure it got inside her mind a little. And let's think about her life. It is all about work. I mean, we are not exposed to her personal life at all, but it seems like she is mostly dedicated to her work completely. And she may even not even have family. So some guy comes out of nowhere and says, you light up my, you light up my world. And maybe not for the reasons that you would think romantically, but it did kind of sound like a romantic gesture, right?
Yeah.
Had the flavor of you are my moon and my stars, and it could be something she's maybe like putting on a tough exterior, like get out of here, but inside she's going like, wow, that's kind of interesting. But if he wasn't a crazy, maybe I would have thought about dating him.
That bottom photo in the middle, there's definitely something there. She's like, suit you, sir.
I don't know. I didn't quite like. I wondered the same when I first saw it. Like, oh, she's kind of into this, but then when he just starts going, like, man, what we could do for the Empire, like, we can, destroy Cassian, and it's just like you get it, no one else does, and it's just like I feel like in a way that would have made her go, like, wait, oh, we're not okay, so we're not talking about me here. You're just like a weird, obsessed Imperial dude, for the Empire.
Yeah, and I also wanted to say that, oh gosh, he definitely has a type, right? And I think it's because of his mother that she is, that aggressive, bold type, and here he is, like going after another bold, aggressive woman. And it may not be all sexual; it may be a hate thing too. It may be like, I just want to get my hands on her so I can wring her neck. Who knows? Because he is definitely unhinged. I hope and I pray that they are going to pay off that character the way they've been setting him up.
You actually bring up a really good point there, Retro, that like maybe it is a hate thing. Like he hates his mom. We're all under the impression that at some point the dude is going to crack and kill his mom, and that maybe someone like DJ who, he was trying to like do these things for him, like, hey, like I can help you. And she's kind of the one, even though she promoted or at least put in a good word for him to get promoted, she still kind of kept him down and said, stay in your lane. Like, you're not a part of this. This is my job, and I wonder if keeping him back, if he also looks at that as like, at some point he'll kill her too, just to advance through the Empire and just become this loose cannon, like this Joker character.
No, he didn't take it like that. She's like, oh, she's testing me. She wants me to show her that I'm worthy in this. And he's going to, like, he's a guy, dude. And he's a guy that's never been laid, what like Cork and Bean said. He's very confused. His mom hates him. this girl is kind of being mean to him, but he thinks he's helping her out. She's going.
Yeah.
He's going. Yeah. He's either
Baby, I'll
A.
do anything for you.
Seriously, he's either A, going to kill his mom and then think that he helps her and mess things up for her and she has to kill him, or B, he's going to kill his mom and then he's going to mess things up for her. He goes crazy and then puts her in a hole, telling her to put a lotion in the basket. It's going to go one of those two ways.
And either way, his mother's gonna die.
Either way, his mom's dead.
It puts it in the lotion and get the hose again.
But here's
Want
another
more milk?
thing that I mean, like I was saying, I had said before, I think he might be the kind of person that's trying to help out, but instead of helping, he actually hurts the Empire and stops it from actually getting Cassian. Because I mean, you know, he could be that, like, instead of actually coming through like he wants to, that he totally messes up.
If that's, oh man, I will say, if that's his arc, that he's just this big screw up that tries and just keeps failing. I mean, if they do it in a way where he's kind of like the anarchy in the Imperial system, where he thinks he's helping the Empire, but yet is just this loose cannon that the Empire can't even control, and becomes, in a way, a extremist for the imperialism, that they're even kind of like, whoa, we got to stop this dude, and he just takes on the world and Andor. Maybe that could be interesting to have that kind of that Joker character that, you know, takes on.
I think it'd be quite interesting if, you know, because he wants this Empire thing so much, and you know, and he's been messing up so far, and been having difficulties, that he actually just goes straight to the top and ends up interacting with the Emperor himself and gets promoted to Admiral or some stick like that, and sort of cries with tears of joy that he's achieved his goal. You know, oh, I'm standing next to the Emperor now. My work here is done. That would be interesting.
Interesting. Yeah, that's kind of a crazy thought to think about. Super Bro Corey, what's your thoughts on, because I know you have a theory.
Well, that is my theory. I told you my theory. The A or B. Either way, she's going to end up in a hole. His mom's definitely dead, and he's either going to mess this up for everything, or B, Deidre's going to wind up in a hole somewhere.
I still haven't got my space battles, and this dude ruins it by being there. I'm gonna be pissed.
Dude, I don't think we're gonna get space battles.
It was in the trailer, in the video that we never showed.
You're still on that, Jesus. I have jobs.
We all have jobs, Trey.
Thanks, Super Bro. Anyways, let's continue on with this. Nobody's listening, because nobody's listening to me. I'm just kidding. Let's talk about Senator Mon Mothma. I personally, this was also a scene. This one particular scene I loved, because it was just like a perfect, you know, metaphor and example of just this episode's title, when she's talking and she's trying to give her thoughts about, you know, the wrongdoings of the Empire and being the Senate that the galaxy needs. And you hear people shouting like, oh no, order, have order, and, you know, the Empire's right, and, you know, stand for the Empire. And people start turning off their, you know, their lights, basically, in, you know, rebellion against, you know, like, we're not going to listen to you, like, because your thoughts are dumb, and like, this is not what we want to deal with right now. What was your guys' thoughts about that whole Senate scene, and just seeing everyone start turning off their lights, and just seeing just how alone she really is in the Senate?
Yeah, well, it was made clear that she's sort of, you know, the goodness in the universe is, you know, disappearing, and she's kind of sort of wasting her time a bit. You know, and then we find out in A New Hope that, you know, the Emperor dissolves the Senate and all that afterwards. But on a side note, I think Mon Mothma is the best character in the whole show.
Absolutely.
and I think that she actually deserves her own show. Just
The West Wing of Star Wars.
amazing actress, and just the star quality of character, the way it's written. She's just so cool.
Batman says, "Hey, I'd rather see Sora arguing with his mom more than space battles." Oh gosh, make it a soap opera.
Oh,
Surreal.
look at Orc was very upset with that one.
Orc, don't show your feelings. Batman's gonna start trolling you.
I am a simple man, and I want simple things, and that is space battles.
Yeah. Just a simple man trying to make his way in the universe.
Exactly.
What's your thoughts about the whole Senate hearing, Orc and Beans?
She she doesn't have as much power as I think she thinks she does. Like she's just talking and talking and talking, and nobody's listening. And it was just kind of funny to just watch them turn off their lights on her, and it was, I mean, there was like, I think because I watched with the subtitles, there was like one guy that said like she's right, but that was it. It's probably the ET people. It's probably them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was probably them. But yeah, it was just kind of a sad scene for her. And then the twist to who her cousin was caught me by surprise.
Integrity, my man. You never disappoint, brother. It's always good to see you. Hope all is well. Which part surprised you, Orc?
Who turns out to be her cousin.
Oh, yes. We'll get to that in just a second. But yes, I was shocked by that as well. I kind of went like, oh, that's not where I thought that was going. This episode made a lot of things kind of like, oh, this is not happening the way I thought it was going to, which I guess is cool. And maybe that's partly why I liked it, is because normally I can guess a show and like it's just watching it laid before me. But this one is kind of keeping me on my toes. Retro, what was your thought about the Senate hearing?
I thought this was an excellent display of what Mon Mothra was like kind of setting up in the beginning of the season, where she was saying that this was all a distraction, while doing what he's doing behind the scenes. Like she's saying all of these things to the Senate, and most people aren't listening to her. So, and they're not paying attention to her while she's able to do the things that she does behind the scenes. So, I mean, I think to me that was the main setup, but it made her really feel like lonely. Especially I guess we'll get to the part where, a little bit later, but she seems to be in a war all by herself, and fighting a fight that most of the people around her can't identify with, and will not and won't refuses to identify with. So it was sad. And I didn't cry or anything, but it was sort of like, yeah, it kind of reminds me of that moment too, where Padme in the prequel said, this is how liberty dies, where the Senate was in the early stages of breaking down then, and she was there to kind of witness what was now the result of a nearly empty Senate, that no one is listening to the cries or the points and the things that people of the galaxy are really concerned with, and things that people really need help with. So it's one of those moments where I was just like, it was a callback, and it was also kind of affirming. And I totally agree with Savage's statement on how the actress is portraying Mon Mothra. She is fantastic
Best.
I love her performance. It's just
Yeah.
incredible.
Absolutely
Yeah.
perfect. I said this last time. I wouldn't be surprised if she gets some sort of award for it. To be honest, she really stands out.
Yeah, she should. Yeah, she should. And like you said, she could. I don't see why they couldn't do her own series. Just I'm not sure where they would take that from, but um, it would be nice for her to have something where we can follow what she's going through, like during the time of like A New Hope or something, and even
Yeah.
get some flashbacks. Flashbacks of her in her young days, and when the Senate was more robust, and even maybe sometime when she met Tate. That would be kind of cool.
I would be curious. Is Von Mothra the person that kills her family, or does she hire a hitman? That's the thing
She's
that I'm
not going to
wondering.
kill her.
No,
family.
she's pure good. She's the leader of the
Yeah.
rebellion.
I know,
Literally
and
the innocence of the
she
rebellion.
is,
No,
but
yeah,
her
she's-
family needs to die, bro. Like the
Well,
killing.
I think you don't like her family, but
No way that's going to happen. She's
think what the-
she's the hope of Star
She
Wars.
needs
Yeah.
to have an oopsie
Yeah.
and then be the light.
I think what's going to happen is the massacre is going to go down that happens in Star Wars history that really sets her on this path to go against the Empire and fully commit to the rebellion. And I think she's going to come to a choice where she's going to try to tell her family, like, you need to come with me now. The Empire is not what you think it is. Join me in the rebellion, and we're going to stop this from happening. And the husband and the daughter are going to choose the side of the rebellion, and it's going to be at the fall of Tate, her friend, and he's going to die. And that's what's going to make it tragic yet okay for us as the audience for her to leave them behind.
Yeah, and then it will start off the whole Yavin 4 rebellions. That's where they'll go to, isn't it?
Yeah,
and that's that's the hideout, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh.
I totally think so. Super Corey, what's your thoughts on the whole Senate hearing?
Yeah, no, I liked it. Again, who said it? Somebody said it. I think it was Oracle Clock Tower that said, nobody's listening perfection. So it was constantly reflecting the title of the show. So I was hoping we'd get a little, Palpatine, a guy down there, but not quite yet. I guess I'm gonna have to wait a little bit more.
Yeah, well, I think the Palpatine is coming up at some point. He's just mentioned too many times for him. Cameo.
That is written in the stars. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's got to happen now.
All right, let's talk about the other scene with Mon Mothma with Tate, and he's telling her. Well, first she learns after you could tell she's really down about her speech and how it didn't. No one listened to her. It just everyone turned off because it was dumb in their opinion. But she learns that her cousin is in town and is already at their house. And we learned that her cousin, to our surprise, we thought it was Luthen's daughter, but no, actually, Vale is the cousin of Mon Mothma, which now explains her connection to how Luthen got in touch with her and has her working for him. Let's go ahead and just talk about that scene. Obviously, she brings gifts, and they kind of hinted at this at the last episode where Vale and her girlfriend Cinta had mentioned, like, you come from wealth, like you can just escape and lay low for a while. Well, we now know where that wealth comes from. It comes from the Mothma family. What was your thoughts on their whole interaction? And clearly they don't know Vale's life, because I think the husband mentions, like, yeah, you should go get a husband, and we know Vale's into women. So clearly she's kept her life private from them. But what was your thoughts on that whole interaction?
Yeah, it was cool, and it was a nice surprise as well. Just the way that they was, sort of the tension of the conversation and trying to keep it quiet, because obviously, rebellion thing, one slip of the tongue can get you executed and all that. And I just thought it was really great. Just a great surprise, and yeah, just a great surprise, really, mainly.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you, Orc?
Well, yeah, like I said earlier, it was a surprise to me. I thought it was cool. I thought it was funny how even Vel kind of picked up on the disrespect from the daughter when she was like, "Oh, let's see if your father lets you wear that," and she's like, "He lets me do anything," and then they both kind of like looked at each other like, "Oh, okay." That husband's a piece of shit still. He's keeping up with that theme. At least he's staying consistent with that. But yeah, it was interesting. It was cool. It was a nice little moment. I guess it added a little more to each person's character, knowing that they have another family member that's also got skin in the game. So yeah, I thought it was overall a pretty cool scene.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you, Retro?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was a total surprise for me that she was her cousin, and it was nice. This entire episode like had so many really cool surprises. Um, and I think everybody's hit on the points. The husband with the comment, and one thing I have to say uh, about them is that Mon Mothma and her cousin is that it they talk about making an oath, and I'm so curious as to when that was, what that was, if it was a ceremony, or why that was, if Val had actually been the one to kind of drag Mon Mothma into this whole thing. Like, how did they get into this this oath together? Is sort of my big question. And how were they introduced to Luthen? And who is he in their relationship? Is he like related to them too, or what's the deal? So I have a lot of questions. That just brought up a lot of questions about what their family is, and how this all got started between them, because a lot of people are putting their lives on the line to fulfill this mission or these plans. But who's at the head of the plan? Is it all Luthen, or is it a committee? How is he picking the people that he's gathering to do this? So there's still a lot of mystery going on for me as far as what is entailed. This brought up a lot of questions for me. But it was a great scene to further this, to show how distant everybody was from Mon Mothma. Like, even at the dinner table, and I think to keep up pretenses, Val sat with Mon Mothma's daughter, and on the same side, all the way at the other side of the table. So there's Mon Mothma sitting at the table, pretty much alone on her side of the table. You know what I mean? So and then when she left, there's this, kind of a few moments for you to absorb, like, okay, now she has no one to talk to. So there's an intense loneliness that Mon Mothma is exhibiting her world in the face of everyone else as well, not just personally, but in the face of everyone else. So I loved it. It was great.
Yeah, and one thing that we did kind of get is, from that interaction that Mon Mothma's daughter had with Tate is that she did think like, oh, is that your old boyfriend? So that's kind of how she took that. And you see a little reaction from the husband from that whole interaction. So, they're definitely on to something that's going on there that's going to further kind of that, what's the word I'm looking for? That paranoia. So I think that's going to build a little further throughout this show. But I also loved how Mon Mothma, clearly she doesn't quite understand yet because she's not really in that spy world. She's not in the weeds and the mud of it like Vale is. But she's like saying, like, did Luthen make you a part of this? Like, did he make you do the heist? And she's just like, don't say his name. Like, who are you talking about? She's keeping, protecting Luthen all this time still. Yeah. And, I just love how she's like, well, please stay low, live a little, like make people believe that you're not basically just present yourself in a way that no one would suspect, just like Mon Mothma's doing for you to suspect you to be a rebel of any sort, which all great scenes all around there. How about you, Super Bro?
Yeah, no, I think I was catching up on some comments, but the thing that the part that I really question too is the fact that Vel was a part of this plan that what's his face? Luthen put together, right? Mon Mothma clearly either like how did Vel and Luthen get together? In a lot of ways is what I'm trying to figure out, because Mon Mothma was like, "Was this you? Did you put this together?" But how was Vel and Luthen, knowing what was a part of the team? So that it kind of confused me a little bit. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, just to kind of see how her loyalties versus, her loyalties with Luthen versus Mon Mothma in a way.
Mon Mothma.
No, Mothma.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And the fact that she had to, she said go and do normal stuff, so keep up appearances. Very much like Bruce Wayne in the Dark Knight trilogy, play the idiot.
Yeah.
That reminded me of that.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's going to create a little bit of issues with her and Cinta, because she's going to have to, I don't know, maybe play that billionaire, spoiled little, person, spoiled little brat, right? And maybe that might get a little too far of trying to keep appearances to where it creates tension between their relationship. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. Guys, Corey, remind me, I let you speak, right? No, I didn't let you speak.
You weren't listening.
Oh well,
nobody's listening.
I did like what Juan said here. Juan said that Luthen is not the boss; it's his assistant. I'm starting to think that more and more too, based off how his assistant was talking to Luthen. I think that it was a Super Bro Corey theory right there. You may be very true. That may be true. Corey may be right this one time.
Corey is right. I'm right about everything Star Wars.
Right, yeah. Now let's talk about Tate really quick. He mentions, he's obviously telling her like this is what we're gonna have to do with their money, because this is the only way we're gonna be able to keep you safe, because slowly the freedoms that we have, and basically to keep you from being caught, essentially, with all the new rules that the Emperor is putting in place, like the walls are slowly surrounding us. Like we're running out of breathing space here, and we're gonna have to do things unsavory that you may not, your moral ethics that Mon Mothma tries to keep throughout, she's probably not going to be able to do that much longer. She's going to have to work with unsavory people within the galaxy. And one of them, I'm totally spacing the guy's name. Do you guys recall what was the name that he said we were going to have to work with? The pimp, the galaxy gangster guy who's filthy rich and can
No, it escapes me.
Yeah, it's escaping me as well. I was trying to see if I could find it real quick, but I'm not having any luck.
I'll look for it.
The Chanrillian crime boss. Yeah, I can't find it. I was hoping I'd get lucky, but no. Do you guys have any theories about who that possibly could be? And what do you think this is going to mean for Mon Mothma now that she's going to have to get her hands dirty?
Yeah, well, obviously, dealing with like the mafia is always going to get you in trouble. But possibly could be something to do with is it Red Dawn?
Possibly, could be
From is it Red Dawn? Is that the name of him? The gangster from Solo.
I think, yes.
I can't remember the name of him now. I don't think that's right. I think it's something red, something. That that was leading up to Darth Maul and stuff in Solo. Possibly something to do with that, because that's going to be heavily in the future, according to Mikey Sutton.
Crimson Dawn.
Crimson Dawn. That's it.
Sorry.
Crimson Dawn. Yeah, maybe perhaps he's one of them. That would make sense to bring them into the story at this time.
Yeah, that could be interesting to have a little. But then again, I'm trying to think, when does Obi-Wan finally kill Darth Maul? I know it happens in Rebels, but how soon is that before the events of Battle of Yavin?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know either.
But I'm sure Red Dawn continued on after Crimson Dawn. Sorry, continued on after Darth Maul, possibly.
And thank you to Orkin Beans figuring out Davos Skolden is the guy's name, the gangster that they're going to have to meet up with. Orkin Beans, what's your thoughts about Mon Mothma having to finally get her hands truly in the mud?
Well, first of all, there's also Davo in Game of Thrones, so that was why I probably should have remembered the name. Davos Seaworth is in Game of Thrones. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Who was also a smuggler. Maybe it's him. The two are combining. Yes. No, I think it's a perfect example of like sometimes you have to play dirty a little bit, and this is like she's trying to do this kind of squeaky clean a little bit, and now she's learning that she's gonna have to do some shady stuff to get some stuff done. So I think it's a big learning moment for her. That like if you got to get stuff done, there's certain ways you have to do it, and you might not be totally okay with it.
Out of curiosity, or to kind of expand on that, because you kind of brought up an idea, my thoughts, as we kind of learned in Star Wars and just in the other films like Rogue One, like the original trilogy, we kind of learned that Mon Mothma is like she really is the shining example of peace and innocence for the galaxy and the Senate. Do you think if this goes down the direction with her having to do things that is going to be shady, do you think this is going to be the right direction for her character, that to now see a character that kind of holds those ideas of moral ethics and innocence to finally see that other side that we didn't know before? Do you think that's a good direction to go?
I don't know if she'll say yes. I think she'll meet with him. Doesn't mean she's going to do it.
And also, if she does, it could be lesson learned. Like, we need to separate ourselves from types like Saw Gerrera and be a bit more keep good. A bit more Luke Skywalker like.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like, maybe this is her moment of like, I am gonna stick with what my heart says, and I'm gonna keep it the squeaky clean way. I'm not gonna go this way. I'm going to try to break that mold of you have to do dirty things sometimes to get the shit done. That was a really good point, Savage.
Yeah, I really liked that a lot. Thanks, guys. Yeah, see, the great parts of having discussions, things come up, and just wondering, is that's with like Rogue One and this whole entire Star Wars universe, that Andor has kind of made me question things, and Rogue One, like, it's usually good versus evil, right? There's not really that complexity there unless there's the transition into the dark side, but it's a clear good versus evil. And now we're seeing that the good side how to do some shady things that maybe we wouldn't consider complete innocence. And it complicates and, honestly makes it more complex than it was before. And I sometimes debate if that was a good idea and if that's the way Star Wars should go. But it's brilliant storytelling nonetheless. Retro, what's your thoughts about Tate and Mon Mothma's discussion?
Well, I mean, I think that this is like a defining moment for her. That she has to make a decision if she's going to go down that road or not. But either which way, she is going to possibly be revealed in the open as to what she truly is doing. So she's kind of over her head and at an impasse, really, and she has to make a decision about what she's going to do. We don't know what that decision will be, but uh, it's very tense right now. I love, as far as from a storytelling perspective, this is how you create compelling characters, by giving them challenges that are unusually hard for them. You know that she is the kind of person that abhors the idea of going to Davo for any kind of help, but she might have to if she feels as if the sacrifice is worth the result she wants. And possibly saving lives, possibly overthrowing the imperial government. She has to be making she has to make a sacrifice, and this is where this is one of them. This is one of the sacrifices that she'll make. And I loved it. I thought it was, it made me excited for next week. What is she going to decide? Is she going to do this? So yeah, I'm excited to see what her choice is.
Yeah, all wonderful takes, guys. I really like it. As Juan says, I think is more basic for Mon Mothma. She is in the rebellion mostly for her cousin. She's in love with her. That's why her cousin told her that the rebellion comes first. They get what is left. Oh, I don't think Mon Mothma is in love with her cousin.
No. Alabama.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's quite an Alabama situation. I think and maybe you mean that more a love as in a family way, but I don't think there's like something more between them there. If anything, I would say Mon Mothma probably has interest and a deeper love for Tate than she does her own husband, which I think is kind of clear with their chemistry. And I think it's noticeable to her family, but obviously her daughter picked up on it, but it's not quite for the reasons they think, right? But there's something there for sure. Thank you, Red Hooded Outlaw. Much appreciated, brother. Super Bro Corey, your thoughts on Tate and Mon Mothma's discussion and talking about her finally getting into the weeds?
Yeah, no, I think it's good. It's time to dive in. She's been trying to do things the proper way for a long time, and clearly that doesn't work. You're fighting this huge force of the Empire, and you're going to have to kind of get down in the gritty, the nitty gritty of it all. So, yeah, no, I thought that was a cool scene. I'm excited to see more about this supposedly crooked Davo character. So I have no clue who he is. So curious to learn more about him. But more importantly, I really want her family to die. Just like Surreal Kern's mom needs to die. Like, I've never wanted a kid to die more in a show than Halo. Yeah, like I wanted that Halo chick to die, and then now I want, I hate her kid. I hate her kid. I hate her dad. I want them both to be.
Oh God!
What just happened, Corey? That just went so so dark. Like,
So
Yeesh.
The time has come. Execute Order 66.
having a Sith mental
I
breakdown.
have been removed. I'm just kidding. He's gonna get ourselves canceled faster than we can say the person with us. Oh god.
Serious, bro. Like, no, I'm dead serious, man. Like, Mon Mothma needs, like, okay, here's the thing. She needs to dive in. She needs to go full hard into it. So we need her family to die in order for her to just have one focus in life now. Like, let's stop worrying about the people. Back out the.
I think it's going to be far more tragic if she chooses to leave them than it is for
Really?
them to die, and she now has the freedom to do what she must do. I mean, we already don't like her family, right? So why would we be heartbroken if they did die? There's no point in that other than to give her the freedom. It's much more. It's a harder journey for her, you know, the hero cycle, for her to have to choose to give them up for the sake of the galaxy. And it's going to show you her loyalty and commitment to that grand idea of what the Senate and the Galactic Republic was supposed to be.
Then she never really loved them.
I mean, it's not like they give her much choice, but like, I don't think
That's
they
why
pull her
I
off
think
and
I think that they have to die in order for her to love the rebellion so much and be the shining hope of we're going to do this the right way.
Liar!
It's the truth. Andor is a dark series. We're going to need some kids and family members to die.
Charming.
Well, I do feel like she does love her daughter. So I think if they, not so much her husband, but I think she would feel some kind of way if something happened to her daughter.
See?
There is some emotion there.
See?
I mean, yeah, I mean,
And maybe it's
a
her
mother and a
husband's
daughter,
fault.
right? Like, there's a bonds there that will always be rough, but there's just, like, in my opinion, story-wise, there's no reason to kill them off because you would get an applause from the audience, and I think that's a weird feeling.
Give
to
us a
have.
win, damn it.
No, there is. There is a reason for it because she's not fully into it yet. You know, she hasn't like jumped both feet into it. You know, Retro is right here. She does still have a connection with her daughter. It's going to be the dad that messes it up, gets the daughter killed and himself because he tries to use the Empire and the shit against her. They're dead, and then she's going to feel bad about her daughter and jump fully into it. It's going to be her cause, you know?
I don't see that being the case. I see them being the case of they're the reason why Tate dies, and they're the
Tate's dead, don't get me wrong.
representation of the Empire and what the Empire is doing, which is building. You know, it's the what they call it. It's the the village builds. You know, it takes a village to raise a child. You know, the Empire is raising this child to believe these ideas and this establishment of what is acceptable and what is just when it's not. And she's going to have to choose to either be a part of that establishment or to leave.
From the vibes I got, I thought it was more likely that she was going to choose the Empire, the kid.
See?
Yeah, I would think that the kid would choose the Empire too. I don't think the kid's going to go with her.
No. Yeah, I think
Corey finally canceled the Bat Channel. Yeah.
No, but perhaps they drag her off, you know, to the having four and have to force her, and it's an upsetting scene. Maybe I don't know, but yeah, that kid definitely seems got a bit of like she would just go along with the Empire, but could be wrong.
No, it seems like it to me because she is not a mama's girl. You know, she is totally down for whatever her dad is gonna do. He's her go-to parent, you know, and whatever he says goes. You know, he's completely enjoying the spoils of the Empire. He's enjoying his life under their control, and she would go with her father, whatever he wanted.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's going to break Mon Mothma's heart. And when the dad gets the daughter and himself killed, she's never going to forgive his ass for it. And join.
I mean, she already won't forgive him for the simple fact that he agrees with what the Empire is doing. He's all for it. Remember, he said a snotty comment to her last episode where he said, while you try to feed the galaxy of people in the outer worlds that are starving because of the Empire's rule, he's just like, I'm going to go stuff myself with food. His lack of humanity is just a big distaste for her, you know? Like, so she could care less.
I guarantee you there's going to be an exploding car that, you know, like, oh, Mon Mothma's supposed to be there. Her family's in there, and their dad's like, let's just go, and turns on the keys, and boom.
That makes sense, actually.
What if it was Thrill that did it? What if he finds out that she's part of this whole thing? He goes to kill her, but because he sucks and messes everything up, he kills her family.
You know what? At that moment, well done, Surreal.
Bit like they tried to blow up Queen Amidala in Attack of the Clones.
Interesting.
That kind of would make sense.
Godfather 1 all over again.
Oh my gosh.
Well, Scarface.
Let's go ahead and get to the main part of what this whole show is about. Cassian Andor stuck in the prison, going through everyday life, and you can see they're working hard. You know, they're doing their shifts as usual. But one of the members on their team is he's not doing so hot. He's looking like he's probably down for the count. And his age is starting to catch up with him. And you could tell there's a lot going on with the different levels. Like level 2, there seems to be questionable things going on, and it's creating panic. What's your guys' thoughts about what? I saw a reaction. What was going on?
Corey's doing some bullshit.
Oh my god. Corey, I will ban you. Oh my gosh.
You will try.
What was that, Corey?
Traitor!
All right, Savage Bat, what's your thoughts about what Cassian is trying to do? It's kind of funny because we get this like where Luthen tried to get Cassian involved with the rebellion, and Cassian was like, no. And here Cassian's trying to do the same thing with Andy Serkis's character by like, join us, like help us find a way to get out of here.
Yeah, it's cool, and it's obviously we're going to get up to what happens later, but I'm really enjoying the whole prison thing. And just the suspense of, is certain people going to join and stuff like that. And I just think that it's just really well written, And Star Wars for adults. That's what I'm branding it as. It's incredible. My favourite Star Wars show.
Man, you keep saying that, and that's great. Yeah. After each episode, that you still feel that way. I appreciate that. It's good to know that.
More shows like this, definitely. Have both, but more shows like this,
Yeah. Orc and Beans, what's your thoughts about what's going on over at the prison? There seems a lot of chaos going on.
Yeah, I really liked the scene of Cassian trying to convince, the head guy of the floor to be like, hey, like, tell us, give us details on like what's going on. And he's like, no, just shut up. Like, stop it. Get that shit out of your head. Otherwise, it's going to just drive you insane. And, then they start hearing rumors of what's going on the second floor, and all sorts of nonsense is happening. And just, I think throughout the whole episode, Andy Serkis's character is just like kind of putting the pieces together. But he's so close. Like, they even ask him like, how many days you got left? And he's like, like 200 some days left. Like, he's so close. He's almost there. He's just trying to get it through. And, we even see with the old guy, he's like, hey, you only got like 41 shift left. Like, you just got to get there. We just got to get him there. And then later on in the episode, we find out more details of, people aren't really leaving like they think. And that was tough. And then, we'll obviously get to what happens at the very end of the episode. And the very end of the episode was very awesome.
Yeah, the end was definitely, I think, the cherry on top of this episode for sure. Retro Nergro, your thoughts about Andor on the prison and the chaos that's starting to stir amongst the different levels?
Yeah, the tension is definitely brewing, and I thought it was a really good way to present this mystery as to, like, okay, what's happening on the floor below and what's going on, and the way it kind of unfolded. I thought that was quite brilliant, and just just detailing how Cassian is figuring out and dismantling the entire production, like him talking to his fellow inmate about how to escape that floor, and all the things that they would have to do. Him, like, in the bathroom, kind of sawing away at that power line. The Those little details of Cassian kind of now taking charge a little bit, showing himself to be a leader and a high level thinker. Like, he's trying to get out of there, and I love that because we're seeing him now at a different level of his growth in the series. A lot of this he's been just kind of led around from moment to moment and takes his moments here and there to master things he knows. But here he's learning. We can actually see him figuring things out. In the beginning, when he was brought into the prison, he got a chance to see how their operations were working, and then figured out, hey, these guys aren't really paying attention. And I love the fact that he says, hey, they're nobody's listening too. Like, so we have our next moment of people not listening. We have him saying that they're not listening on the floor. We have Mon Mothma and not being heard in the Senate. We have Cyril drowning out his mother by slurping on his
Yeah.
His
and
blue
not
belt.
listening. And I know that there was another one that I had, but there's another area where Mon Mothma not being heard by her family as well. And again, at the end of the scene where Val leaves her, she's again alone. So that they keep on ringing through this statement of people not being heard throughout the story. And this is, I just have to say, well written. It is a little slower, but in this particular case, it's showing us, like, the actual, like, all of these events are leading up to the rebellion and how horrible it is for all of these people. And in the prison, like, for Andor to kind of reveal to the head man there, I forgot what the name.
Kino Loy.
Akina Loy. Okay, what a character. And by the way, Andy Serkis he's just doing such an incredible job with that character.
So spectacular, right?
It's just so good. And he went through a huge arc from, hey, let's just follow the rules. I only have a few more days left where we're just gonna do what they tell us to do and we'll be okay, to realizing, no, we're never gonna get out of here. They think that we're garbage. They pretty much discarded this old man that was dying and didn't even care to and just euthanized him on the spot, like shooting a horse with a broken leg. It was dramatic for him to the point where he's like, yes, okay, I'll give you any information that you need to blow this top stand.
Yeah. Well, it was very much like sorry, go ahead. Oh,
Go ahead.
sorry, I missed that. What was that, Retro?
Hey, your mic cut out there.
Yeah, I think your
Retro.
mic's kind of Retro.
I think she said go ahead, Trey.
Oh, go ahead. Okay. Well, just to piggyback on what Retro was saying, and then I'll let her continue. I mean, it's very much in a way like the prisoners are the workhorses, right? They're like carrying all the pilgrims and their equipment over, and then in the olden times when they were just overworked and finally dropped to the ground, like there was no care to heal them, get them back up. You just put them down because we'll find another one just as easy. As we see, and you're absolutely right with Andor. His attention to detail and paint, of schedules with all the officers there and how they do things and where they're paying attention to. I love that about Andor. I think that's one of the most interesting things about him, of just how quick he is able to pick up on things. But go ahead and continue, Retro. Hopefully we have you back.
Can you hear me now? Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I think I was done with saying all of my points. It was. I'm in love with just the scenes of Andor in the prison was enough to really like take me over the edge for this episode. I really loved a lot.
Yeah. It was really, really good. For especially just that whole sequence with Andy Serkis and Cassian. Super Bro Corey, your thoughts, sir?
I have to say, I'm really starting to really enjoy what Andor, the entire series, is doing overall. A lot of times there's, in movies, it's like a shit ton of stuff going on all over the place, and you're constantly getting background stuff like that. And I was thinking to myself, like, man, I really want to know what's going on the second floor. And, in some ways it would have been cool for them to show us like, oh, them just killing everybody and everything like that. But when I was kind of rethinking about it, I was like, man, it's also very cool to see things as if you're there with him. So like if I'm with Andor, I'm only seeing what's going on with Andor in the prison, and that's it.
It creates the confusion.
And the confusion, the curiosity of what's happening on the second floor. Same way when you go to Mon Mothma, you only see things from her perspective, and her things, you don't see anything behind the scenes. So the overall like just directing and the mystery that they've created in each of these episodes has been fantastic. Like I've truly enjoyed that side of things. But yeah, I love that we were watching Andor test the walls, trying to find the weak points. The Raptors never hit the same place twice, right? They're constantly, working around. And I'm liking that he's starting to build this bond with his team. And they're like, okay, notice how they're not wearing, those shoes on the elevator, nothing that moves. They're starting to figure things out, and they're being observant. So it was cool to be down in the trenches with them, is what it's feeling like. And I'm liking that. I truly felt like I was sitting in my own little cell, when Andor screams, nobody's listening.
Yeah, man. And like, it was cool to see, obviously, the play of the title into the actual script and dialogue of this theme, but as the running theme throughout this episode, right, is and honestly kind of throughout the show, when he kind of says, the the Empire are fat and comfortable. You know, they're not paying attention to us. They don't care what we're doing. You think they're listening. You're paranoid because they have the power. And the truth is, they are so powerful, they just don't care anymore because they don't think you're going to do anything. And it's just a very incredible scene to watch. Even Cassian care about someone he's maybe only known, I mean, not that long, and honestly probably doesn't really speak to, but Olaf, you know, this older gentleman who's just so close to finally being able to get out, and Andy Serkis's character able to get out soon, and they're both saying, just stay the course, we're almost out, we're gonna get free, you know, like stop playing this game, like if you just keep your head down, we'll be out of this. And as they come to learn, when Olaf finally is coming, you know, they're gonna have to put him down basically. And Andy Serkis, kind of Kino Loy, his character, I gotta stop calling him Andy Serkis, but Kino Loy, asks the doctor, he kind of uses this opportunity, like, tell us what's going on in the other levels, and learning that the Empire, you're working there until you die. There is no leaving. You're just gonna come right back, and when that certain level 2 figured it out, they were gonna kill them, and which leads me to believe this.
I called that in an earlier episode as well. I knew that was going.
You did, yeah.
And real quick before you say that, Trey, I think that also speaks well to how great the directing and the filming of these episodes are, because if they would have shown us like, a guy, you show the video of floor 2, and they show the same guy walk over there, like, oh yeah, they never get to leave. When you found out that, they never leave, it was like, shit, man. The Andy Serkis is almost out. This old guy's almost out. You know, they're stuck here. They're just going to transfer him to another freaking floor.
Yeah, and you can tell it's
like that pissed you off with them. You know,
it did, and it was that brilliant character change where, like, you know, Kino Loy, who's just trying to keep his head down because he's almost out. He's not trying to cause any problems, and it was like the switch flipped. You know, where he, you know, learns the news, like, no, dude, you're not leaving this place. When you leave, everyone and they're just going to put you right back, or they're going to kill you, or they're going to kill everyone on your team. And the moment where he's just like, how many people are on, you know, how many guards are on each level? And he's like 12. You know, he's on board now, and you just know shit is ramping up to this crazy escape that we're going to see hopefully in these future episodes. And it was just a great, like, even though we were kind of guessing the twist, and it was all leading to this, but like, it was so brilliantly well done that it's like, you're like, let's freaking go on this. And I just go ahead, Retro.
Oh yeah, I was cheering when that part came. I was like, oh my god, what are we gonna get next week? You know, because he's pissed.
That was one of the best endings of the show so far. It's brilliant.
Leave it up! Leave it up!
Viva la France! Viva la Rebellion!
Right, and I loved what Oracle's Clock Tower said here, where she's like, it was such a simple line, but the simple fact that, like, he's on board now, he's pissed off, and you just know, like, this thing is about to happen. It's about to completely crumble on the Empire. And I loved it too. Yeah, man, it had me hyped and jumping, like, yes, like, here we go. And just a testament to Kino Loy and Andy Serkis's character. Just absolutely, yes. Juan, we are going to do a Rogue One watch party some point, but I might save that for season 2 when season 2 is over, so that way we have a linear thing going on.
But then Rouge One, is that the Chinese rip-off version of Rogue One?
Rouge One. So I know Savage Pat said this theory first, and he's absolutely correct. The fact that you never leave this prison tells us that what they're building is so secretive and classified that they can't let anyone know what they're building, which means only one thing, guys. They're building pieces of the Death Star.
It's got to be. Yeah. It's got to be at this point.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But also, you just mentioned earlier, before I forget, about the Empire being fat, nobody's listening, and all that. This is why they got away with Rogue One, and how they destroyed the Death Star. Because the Empire's thinking, there's no way they're going to attack the Death Star. You know, there's no way they're going to attack. You know, to get the plans. And it's all a repeating pattern that goes all the way up to Return of the Jedi. They do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. I personally, it's just very. I love what they're trying to say with it. I agree, Oracle. It is pretty solid writing all around. A few tweaks where I feel like they could, like maybe if it wasn't done in a series and done in a movie instead, maybe they would be able to have a little bit of a better pacing. And maybe kind of get rid of some of the side stories that aren't really going anywhere. To not have to fill a 50-minute episode every week. But overall, I think it's a pretty great show. For theories, before we get to the score, how do you think they're going to escape, especially with the floors being able to stop them in their tracks?
Make some boots, maybe, or steal some boots. Possibility.
Okay. How about you, Orc?
My guess is when they're bringing in the new guy to replace Olaf, that's when they pop shit off. Because Cassian's talking to the one guy beforehand about like how the elevator works, and kind of just taking one guard at a time kind of thing. So I think once the new guy comes, which boy, what the heck of a first day.
Or is it his first day?
True.
Maybe Olaf is not really dead, and he.
Yeah. I think that is how it's going to go down. Is when that new guy is coming. That's when shit pops off.
Yeah,
Okay.
That sounds like a good theory. I think also too there may be something to do with the power, because Andor was going away at some sort of, I think it's a power line. I'm assuming it is. That maybe he could dismantle that, and that could release the electricity on the floors. So that could be one way that it's done. If they shut down the power to the whole facility, that might be possible. But yeah, it's a tricky one. That facility is pretty intense.
Yeah, it is kind of a crazy design, right? And I watched the new Rockstars the other day, and I really like what they had to say with kind of breaking it out calculations wise, where there's like all in all, if there's 12 guards on each level, and some of them do shift to different levels. Generally, we could say maybe there's about 84 guards, but if you count all the levels of, they have about 50 people on each level, 2 shifts, so 100 people. I think someone calculated that they actually have like 5,000 people, prisoners, but minus 100 because we just lost a few from that breakout that was about to happen. So they definitely outnumber the prisoners easily if they get everyone on board with this, and it could be a huge uprising to where they just take down all the guards. It could be a really cool prison break for sure.
Also, none of the guards actually have weapons. So.
True. They really just have the floors as their one defense, and sticks. Sticks and stones may break my bones.
Yeah, Juan in the chat. Moulin Rouge 1. Kenobi meets Aquaban's mum. The Bat Down edition.
Yes, Obi-Wan can sing very, very well. Super Bro Corey, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think they're definitely going to try to create a short circuit and bring all the power down. That's what he's chipping away at there. And it was interesting seeing, was that water flowing in when he was walking through the other day? So is that going to play a part into some of this as well? I don't know, but yeah, it's going to happen pretty crazy. I feel like it's going to be a oh gosh, what's the film with Johnny Depp? A Public Enemy. It's going to be a Public Enemy style breakout. Cool.
Yeah, I dig that. That's fun. So guys, let's go ahead and do our ratings here for episode 9. Nobody's listening of Andor. Was Savage? What would you give this particular episode? It's gonna be in the 9s. I'm calling it.
I'm not that predictable. Yeah, 9.5, easy.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Orc and Boons.
Mic's off.
Oh,
I really wish I was watching the same Andor that Savage is watching. I'm gonna give it an 8.6.
Oh, 8.6 is a lot
8.6.
better.
That's much higher than I thought it was gonna be. Because the last episode you were in the 5s.
I was in
weren't
the
you?
5s. Yeah. Someone said it. I'm pretty sure it was Joker's Wild said it. This was a slow episode, but it was the best slow episode.
It was rewarding. The end was worth it. Do you know what I mean?
Honestly,
That deserves a high score for that.
that final line of how many guards are there, and he's like, no more than 12. Like that was the moment in the episode for me where I was like, all right, okay, there was something to this episode. So yeah, I know it's a little higher than thought I was gonna put it, but it's the same thing with every week. Every week we do these shows. I come in with a low score. Then you guys start talking good points and shit and making valid statements and stuff. Making me like the show episodes more than I did. So, yeah.
Love it. Retro.
Even. It's
Did
pretty
you say
good.
9 even? Was that?
So yeah, 9 even.
Okay. Yeah, your mic cut out for a second there. So yeah, 9 even is what Retro Nerd is given. Solid score. No, you're good. 9 even. Solid. So also digging it as much. Super Bro Corey. Darv Super Bro Corey, sorry.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Orc and Beans there, surreal simp. It's going to be pretty interesting to see how Surreal plays out. But more importantly, I love Andor in the prison, man. I love the prison scenes. They could just let it all be the freaking prison, and I would be enjoying it thoroughly. It's cool seeing the other stuff going on. I know there's a lot of stuff, but man, I love the prison scenes. So I was actually going to give it a 9 too.
Wow. Man,
impressive. Most impressive.
Yeah, the prison scene it's just one of those things. It really draws you in, and the tension is high, and gets your blood pumping. You don't know what's going to happen. It's great.
Yeah, really creates the environment, the atmosphere. It's really cool.
I think so. The first time I watched this episode, there was so much going on that like I had trouble following it. To where I was like, I'm probably in the upper 7s again. But once I watched it a second time and had a chance to kind of, pay attention to some of the other details and like really listen to the dialogue. There was the dialogue in this particular episode was incredible. Kino Loy, Andy Serkis's character was the bomb. Yulof, I heard someone in the chat say earlier that they weren't expecting like Yulof to kind of be an impactful death, but it was, it got me as well. And Mon Mothma is she just continues to dominate. Deidre's awesome. They need to figure out the surreal things. Literally, surreal is my only negative to pretty much each of these episodes. So I need his payoff to be.
I don't think he was that bad this episode, to be honest with you, though.
We got a little something like his interaction with his mom irritated the shit out of me. The interaction with Deidre helped a little bit, so that's why it didn't affect it as much. I think I'm gonna go and having a discussion with you guys. I think I'm gonna go like I'm gonna give it an 8-9.
Oh, okay. So the scores are rising. I'm really enjoying Andor Prison Break. Yeah. I love Prison Break as a show, though. So this is right up my alley now.
I've never seen it, and people always talk about it to me because my name's Lincoln. So there's a character apparently in it called Lincoln.
Yeah. Yep. You should watch it, Savages.
It's actually a pretty good show. I never
maybe
it,
maybe one day.
Corey, what's everyone in the chat saying for ratings? Are we in the same ballpark as everybody?
Yeah, let's see. The Butler kicking us off today with an 8.4. Joker's Wad with an 8.6. Oracle Clock Tower with an 8.9 out of 10. Bat Dan with a 9.3421765. Red Hooded Outlaw said last night was perfection. 9.2 from Red Hooded Outlaw. The Butler with an 8.8. Juan said, gotta go, guys. It has been awesome. See you next one. My rate for episode 9 and overall Andor is a 9 out of 10. Lose to real and they get me to 10. Trevor H with an 8.7. 8.9 from hashtag Restore to the Snyderverse guy. A 9.2 from Bat Fanatic saying it's so good. It would have been hard for me if we saw Surreal's mom more. Present Break season 1, 2 are good. 3 and 4 were Sox Bulletins with a 9.
With a 9, okay. Oh gosh, Bat Dad. So such a troll, dude. I love it, Bat Dad. Guys, if you haven't checked out Bat Dan's channel, he's done some really cool Star Wars reviews over there lately. Even Tales of the Jedi. I highly recommend that you check it out. Because he's doing some cool stuff over there. And we love having Bat Dan on our show sometime as well. But as always, I love to roll out the red carpet for my fellow Delta Squad people. Savage Bat, my man, tell us what you got going on.
I've got the episode Bat and the Kryptonian with Zodwriter in about 6 hours. I've got a couple of guests coming on, hopefully. I think Skywalker the Jedi will be turning up. And maybe someone else, I'm not sure. And we'll be talking about Release the Eye Cut and this leaked clip, etc. And it's I think it's nearly 100,000 tweets already, maybe more.
Awesome.
It's doing really well.
I think the goal was 250,000, right?
Yeah, and then the same tomorrow, but live crossover stream with guests from the fandom. Do that every weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So that's pretty much the same thing, but different topics.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. So, guys, please check out the I Think Super Corey. Yep, my man. Put the link to Savage Bat's channel. We got a dope show with the Zod Rider tonight, and apparently Skywalker the Jedi. That's going to be fun, as always. And then always your Sunday streams are a blast. Hopefully, Corey and I can attend that tomorrow. We'll see. But Orkin Beans, my man. What you got going on?
Yeah, I'm over on Twitch, trying to stream as much as I can. I've had some tech issues that I'm pretty sure I got figured out. Thursday is my birthday, so I'm going to spend the day with the beautiful wife. But then on Friday, I'm going to do a super long birthday stream. I'm probably going to start at like 10 a.m. or something like that and stream.
Oh, yeah. How long are you going to go for?
I took the day off. Well, I'm going to go as long as I can, and then I'm going to stop, play D&D, and then I might play again.
Big fella, if you jump on, I will play. If you're still playing while I get home, I would totally jump on and do some Battlefront with you.
Yeah, well, that might happen. I might text you guys once I get done. I was thinking about possibly streaming D&D, but we use some copyright stuff, so we're not going to. But yeah, maybe we'll have a second half to the birthday stream and do some Battlefront 2 with you guys.
Woot woot.
And we can finally get Savage on there now that he's got an Xbox.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Yeah, I'll shoot you guys a text.
Yeah. Let me know how it works.
That's awesome, man. Well, that would be fun. We might see us over on Orchid Bean channel. But if you guys haven't created a Twitch account yet, I keep saying this. You need to, because Orchid Beans is taking over Twitch, dominating like he normally does on our show. Because it's Orchid Beans. You don't mess with this guy. You just Orchid Beans.
Orc and Beans. And he's a surreal simp. Look at that.
He's a surreal simp. At some point, guarantee, guys, at the end of the Andor show, he is going to be an asshole. He is going to be the biggest surreal lover ever. He's going to be like, that's my boy. They need to change this show from Andor to surreal.
He's going to be like, surreal is greater than Nemec. I feel that coming.
Agreed.
Don't you dare speak his name. Don't disrespect the
dead.
dead.
He's a loser compared to Surreal.
No, he died a hero.
He died the worst way possible.
Jeez. Retro Nerd. Do you
We're
have
really
going
off
on?
the rails now.
Yeah, we are.
Oh, not much. I'm just working on my channel, making new videos. Probably gonna have one ready in about 2 weeks. And I'll be reviewing the Planet of the Apes. So yeah, that's it.
I'm so excited for that one because that's the. I think we talked about this before. You're doing the
Yeah.
original Charlton Heston one.
Yes, that's the 1968 version. Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
Whoa!
Yeah, I love
That's
them
gonna be so
ones.
good. I'm super stoked for that because I'm sure there's things you know about it that I don't even know, and I'm all here for it. Guys, you know how I feel about Retro Nerd Girl. She's like one of my favorite movie review channels ever. Like it's just subscribe. If you haven't subscribed already, you're late and you
Do
you're
it.
not cool. Just
Do it now.
You know, just listen to the.
Do it.
Oh my gosh! Well, guys,
Nobody
I
listened
thank
in
you
this
so much.
episode, but you should listen to this, and you should subscribe to her.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today. Thank you to everyone in the chat. It was great seeing you guys. A fun episode for sure. And I'm curious to see, we're now on the final trilogy episode, seeing how they're handling episode 10, 11, and 12 coming up next Wednesday. But we'll continue to do our Andor breakdowns each weekend. So make sure you guys smash that like, share this video, subscribe if you haven't already, which I don't know what you're doing if you haven't subscribed to us, and then hit that notification bell so you don't miss next week's episode. We're gonna have a lot to talk about for sure. And also, as Corey already showed, you can follow us on our social media pages like TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. That's _Bat Channel. Or if you're on Facebook, do at Holy Bat Channel. And tell us some of the Easter eggs that you found in episode 9 and maybe in the previous episodes that we haven't discussed before, or what you would like us to cover in the future. We'd love to hear from you guys. But as always, thank you so much. I am your host, Trey, with the amazing Delta Squad and Super Bro Corey. And Super Bro? Super Bro?
Oh, sorry, I wasn't listening.
Nobody's listening.
Nobody's listening at
Nobody's listening.
all. All right, everybody.
We'll
Catch
see
us next
ya.
time. Same bad
Same
time.
bad time. Same bad channel. Same bad time.
I like to think that
Same
Retro's
bad channel. Same bad